So about a week ago, I was coming home on Black Friday after having gone and picked up some new shelving units for the Transport Evolved studio. And coming back up the road where I live here in rural Oregon, we happened upon a deer. A doe, in fact. And well, oh dear, doe! We hit it. I wasn't travelling very fast, and luckily, as a video detailed earlier this week shows, the damage was relatively minor. I was able to drive home, the airbags didn't deploy, the deer kind of rolled off and disappeared into the ditch, and to answer many of you who have been asking questions in the comments from our live stream earlier this week, no, I don't know if the deer survived, but it's certainly not there anymore. No, I did not butcher it. It's not sitting in my freezer. And talking to the local insurance providers, it does look as if it's fairly common for deers to get hit by cars at low speed, to roll off into the verge, and then to just get up a little dazed and confused and then head on their way. My car, my Chevrolet Bolt, nicknamed Artemis, wasn't quite so lucky. She sustained some damage to her front grille, to one of the front lights, which wasn't broken but had its mounting broken, and some other things were broken. And so thus we ended up taking my car to the local repair centre, which is where we are with this video. Because what do you know? I've not only got an update on the Bolt and the repair process, I've also got an update on the car that I was able to get thanks to my insurance company, which provides me with about a month's worth of car rental in the unfortunate incident when I have an accident, but also an update on the Chevrolet Bolt EV recall that we've requested and, drumroll, the battery replacement program. So today, because we've been busy editing a really massive video from Comma AI coming to the channel soon, I decided that what we were going to do today was to give you a little bit of an update. So let's start at the top. Where is Artie right now? Well, Artie's being fixed. The insurance adjuster gave me a call yesterday, and there's been about $3,500 worth of damage done. And yes, for those who are wondering and are worried, don't worry. I did fill out a form with the Department of Motor Vehicles and sent it off. It's law in Oregon, if you have an accident and there is more than $2,500 worth of damage, for you to report that accident to the DMV. I rang up the DMV on Monday and said, hey, we had an accident on Friday. I don't know how much the damage is going to be. What should I do? And they just said, just send it in. We're not going to take your license. So I sent the form in before we knew for sure what the repair damage was. The very next day, I found out that $3,500 worth of damage, and the things that need to be replaced are pretty obvious. There's the front bumper and all of the front bumper assemblies. There's a couple of covers inside the bonnet in the hood area that need to be replaced because they were cracked in the accident. The passenger side front light needs to be replaced because one of the mounting brackets has been broken. And there's a few other things, including $1 warning labels, which made me laugh. That's right, if your car has an accident, I didn't know this, if your car has an accident and the warning labels that come from the factory on your car are destroyed or will be removed as part of the repair work, they have to be put back on. I didn't know that. So I learned something today, which is why one of the line items in my insurance quote is literally a $1 warning label. Who knew? The bonnet or the hood is not yet scheduled to be replaced. Although it's aluminium or aluminum, it's going to need to be quite heavily bashed out. And the repair centre has said, look, we're going to give it a go. If it's not possible to repair it, the insurance company has already gone, yeah, we'll authorise a new bonnet. I spoke to them today, and all of the parts have been ordered. They are on the way, and hopefully we'll get everything that we need to fix Artemis within the next 2 weeks. Now, of course, if you don't have a car because you've had an accident, you're going to need something to replace it. And at the time of the accident, after I rang up the insurance company, they said, well, we're going to give you a free car rental. We'll cover 40 days or 30 days, $40 a day is your allowance. You get a free rental car. And I said, I don't really want to get a petrol car. Don't want to drive gas. That's why I drive electric. So we didn't pick up the car that day. I actually had my wife pick me up and drive me home after I dropped my car off. But then yesterday, I got a call, and as part of the discussion about courtesy cars, the insurance agent reminded me that yes, I do have a car available to me, and Enterprise has an active, open authorization to reserve a car for me. So I rang up and I said, hey, don't suppose you have any electric or plug-in hybrid cars on your inventory? And the woman on the phone was like, well, we don't, but we know a place that does. Turns out it isn't just Hertz that is allowing you to rent an electric car. It isn't just Hertz that has Teslas on its fleet. Enterprise, certainly here in Portland, Oregon, has Teslas on its fleet. It has Kia e-Niros on its fleet, and it has this on the fleet, a second generation Nissan Leaf, which frankly, I am more than happy to be driving. As a lot of you will know, I used to have a first generation Nissan Leaf. I loved my first generation Nissan Leaf, and we only got rid of it because, well, we live out in the country, and when we moved out into the country in the wintertime with the degraded battery pack, we couldn't easily travel the 50-mile round trip between the house, my wife's office, and back home without either getting cold because you couldn't run the heater or needing to recharge. This car has a much bigger battery pack. This is the one with the, I think it's 60 kilowatt hour battery pack in it. It's got 220 miles on the odometer fully charged. I picked it up last night from Enterprise on Burnside in Portland. They had another one there. Both of them were charging. The woman I was speaking with said, well, this one's got more charge and this one's got less. And I said, just give me the one with less charge. I can charge it when I get home. I have solar panels. I don't care. I had enough miles to get home, so I drove it home, whacked this on our 6 kilowatt charger overnight, and it was fully charged this morning. It's been trickle charging because we used it a little bit this morning. It's been trickle charging off a 110 from one of our outbuildings earlier on because Michael's here now filming every day. He's holding the camera and he charges up every day his Volt from our main chargers, and of course my wife drives electric as well. So we've got plenty of chargers on the go. And the Nissan Leaf, so far, it's been great. It's been wonderful to be back in what felt like a very familiar old friend. Now, this car has the ProPilot, which I made use of last night, reminded me of how ProPilot works. You have to keep your hands on the wheel, but the car keeps you in the center of the road. It's nowhere near as advanced as Tesla's Autopilot. It's nowhere near as advanced as, say, even Kia's Lane Keep Assist setup, which I prefer. And it's not quite as advanced as Ford's Blue Cruise. But there's some videos coming on that soon, so I'm not going to, I'm not going to jump the gun on that one. But this car was effectively free with my insurance. My insurance allocates me $40 a month, $40 a day even, in rental costs. And this car comes in at under $40 a day. Now, the interesting thing is at the rental car place, at Enterprise in Portland, believe it or not, they have a couple of Polestar 2s. I got very excited when I pulled into the parking lot, and I actually texted the rest of the Transport Evolved team and went, hey guys, you're never going to guess what? They have Polestars. Should I get one? Well, we did some digging, and it turns out that the Polestar 2 is about $100 a day. I'm not, by the way, this is not sponsored by Enterprise. I'm just really pleased that another rental company is now also doing EVs. They apparently have a really good mix of people who are leasing these or renting these by the day, by the week, split between EV drivers who've had an accident and want an EV while they're in town, or they're visiting and they want an EV because theirs is at home, and people who just want to rent a car and end up going, oh, this is interesting, let's give it a go. And based on the feedback I'm hearing from the person I spoke to at Enterprise, generally the response is very good from people who have rented an electric car, even a car like a Leaf. They're coming back in and going, wow, that was fun. I can see myself driving this. Enterprise makes sure they know how to charge it, where they can go to get charging. The car comes with a charging cable in the boot, which obviously I don't need to use. And so the experience is, I think pretty good based on what they told me. Of course, that was an enterprise rep giving me feedback on other customers, so it's not exactly unbiased, but it does seem that enterprise and other rental companies are now really embracing EVs, which is phenomenal. The Polestar 2, we are tempted to rent it, but it was $100 a day. So I would have ended up paying $60 extra per day to rent it versus this. And I'm a bit of a cheapskate. So the Polestar 2 will have to wait for another day. Maybe we'll rent it for a couple of days so we can film a review. Let us know in the comments below if you'd like that to happen, or in fact become a Patreon supporter, and then we can use that extra money to actually rent a Polestar 2. Because we've tried getting one from the Polestar press fleet, and well, there isn't really much of a Polestar press fleet right now because the Polestar 2s are in such high demand. When I started this video though, I was going to tell you about the other update. So we've been looking to get a buyback on both my Chevrolet Bolt EV and my wife's Bolt EV because we just got fed up of waiting for the battery replacement. We've basically been crawling through molasses with that. Every week it feels like our contact at GM is reaching back with another request for some arcane piece of paperwork that is absolutely essential to our buyback request. My wife's had a couple of, the third-party car purchasers reach out to her and offer her actually substantially more than the car is, than we owe on the car to buy her Bolt back. And this morning I got a phone call from my local Chevy garage going, we want to schedule a battery replacement. Your car is in the line for a battery replacement. Can you do it in 2 weeks? And I said, hey, my car's in the shop right now having some repair work done. How does that work? And the woman I was speaking with said, well, we can't, when we get the batteries ordered, we can't keep the batteries for you. So if your car is not ready, it'll just go in someone else's car. Turns out, though, that according to the repair centre, fingers crossed, all of the parts have been ordered. The car is going to be free of accident damage, hopefully, in 2 weeks' time. And so Chevrolet, fingers crossed, my local Chevrolet dealer will get my car from its accident repair centre because it's the same brand. We're going to go down to Car Chevrolet to get the battery replaced, and it's Car Auto Body Repair that's replacing the panels and fixing the deer damage. And so hopefully by the end of this month, touch wood, there is no wood here, we will actually have not only a fixed Chevrolet Bolt EV, but also a brand new battery pack with an 8-year, 100,000 mile warranty. I won't be able to fast charge it any quicker, but I will get 66 kilowatt hours instead of 60 kilowatt hours, and that should hopefully give me about 250 miles of range per charge, which is great news because on December 31st, everybody in the Transport Evolved team will be heading to Las Vegas for CES. And that means, obviously, we're going to have to carry a lot of gear, and I will be taking my little tiny tow trailer with us with all of our gear in it and everything else. So hopefully my Bolt will be back to full health. We'll be able to use all of the battery pack. We'll be able to travel from here to almost Grants Pass without charging, which will be good news. And hopefully it will reduce the amount of time we're on the road. I would love to have our Ford Mustang Mach-E by that point, but sadly I don't think it's going to arrive. It's due to be made in 2 weeks, so that's cutting it a bit fine. And we're also having conversations about whether we should keep the Bolts. And the reason is this. We can afford the new Mustang Mach-E. We could afford the F-150 if we write it off as a business expense. That's the only way we can afford the Mach-E and the F-150. But if we save some of our money, one of our Bolts is basically going to be completely paid off next year. And if they've got new batteries and they've got a warranty, a new warranty for the drivetrain and battery pack, yes, it charges more slowly on the road, but it's a more sustainable option and we could save the money for something else. We're definitely getting the F-150 because we need the battery backup for the house. We need to carry all the gear on long trips and all the crew. But the Mach-E is now, I think, back on the maybe yes, maybe no. The Ford dealership has been really clear with us and said, we don't care if you buy it or not, we can flog it if you don't. So I guess I'd love to know what you would do in the comments below. And don't tell me to buy a Tesla because we've been there, we've had that conversation. But if you had to choose between a Ford Mustang Mach-E that you're going to have to spend extra money buying, or a Bolt EV that is almost paid off, which would you go for and why? Let me know in the comments below. So that is it for today. Thanks as always. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and let us know what you thought below. You can also share your thoughts on Discord. It's a very lovely group there, and a lot lower stress, I think, than the YouTube comment section. We'll leave a link below. A special thanks to the folks on my right for being our $15 to $49 a month Patreon supporters, and special thanks to our $50 a month patrons. They are Jason Boda, Brian Newton, Michael Goad, David Janakula, Ricky Leong, Andrew Martin, Guido Drahota, Brophy Wolf, Tesla in the Gone, Joseph Broucher, Sean Ueda, Gordon C, Raging Fellows, Anonymous Freak, Jim Burness, Anthony Coates, Carl Hodgson, Laura Sanborn, Roy Litwin and Denny Hyde. And as always, our deepest gratitude to our $100 a month Patreon supporters: Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, Joe Brenzy, JP Fegarak, Will Graylin, Matthew Drobnak, Christopher Lee Jones, Paul Conway, Ellery Hennesley and Ian. If you're feeling left out, then you can join the fantastic Patreon team. There are links below. You can also support us on Bitcoin and Ko-fi, and also, if you fancy it, you can buy some TE swag, just like this hoodie that I'm wearing right now. If Michael can pan down, you'll see it. It's our Christmas hoodie for the holidays. So it's a lovely tree, holiday tree, with all kinds of different EVs on it. And you can buy it through the store. There's still time to get it for the holidays. If you're going for a family meal on December 25th or whenever you are celebrating the season, wear a Transport Evolved hoodie. Stay warm and make the bad Christmas hoodie great, I think. Or at least make it tea flavoured. That's it. Thanks for joining me. Keep evolving.